This is Cynthia Toet, your TV host for Your Hidden Love Story. I want you to keep your mindset on the higher vibrational mindset so you can keep living your life and going on this beautiful journey you got. I can't live here without you. We need all of you. You're all here. You have all a special reason, a special purpose, and nobody can do it just like you. Hello, everyone. This is Cynthia Toet, your TV host for Your Hidden Love Story. We're on episode 2058, and we're going to be talking about mastering your emotional response. By what? By rewriting that story behind the scene. That's what we're going to talk about today. You know, the main reason why I come live is because I do believe that we have all been misled and misguided by that emotional self, you know. And you know what I mean by that is we are hardwired to be operating from a lower vibrational energy. That is out of fear, doubt, insecurity, not good enough, not whole enough, feeling like we got to prove ourselves out there to the world or to someone else. And that's all the wrong vibration for us to be working from. You know that? That's why my goal is to flip that story around to better to be living in a higher vibrational way. And what is that vibration? That vibration would be out of love, love and above, laughter, play, joy, happiness, peace, and harmony, passion, desire. Come on, baby, let's get this show rolling and let's get your life a-going. Woo, 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 woo. Mastering your emotional response by rewriting that story that's going on in the background. We're going to be talking about what those triggers are actually telling you. You know, like, it's really a familiar feeling. It's an unprocessed pain from your past. That's where it's coming from. The emotions, when it's a trigger, when we're exploding, when we're getting angry, mad, upset, frustration, irritation. It's always from something that feels familiar from the past that has not been healed. With the concept of emotional self, your triggers are essentially internal signals or alarms that are telling you something about yourself, particularly about your past experiences, unresolved emotions, and that need to be not be filled in the present moment. I'm going to give you guys some breakdowns of what some of these triggers are and how it all happens. So, like unresolved issues or past traumas, triggers often relate to past trauma events and stressful events that haven't been fully processed. You know, they just got dropped in the middle of thin air, way back there somewhere. But your triggers are a way for your subconscious mind to alert you of a situation that is similar to these past events, even if the current situation isn't even threatening in any which way, shape, or form. But if it feels familiar to that past event, you may react or respond the same way because that trigger is still there. You might indicate that, it might indicate that you still have psychological work to do to fully integrate and heal from those previous traumas. It could be from feeling unsafe or threatened back there in the past. Emotional triggers can signal that you perceived a threat to your emotional or your physical safety, even if the threat isn't even real in the present moment. Isn't that so crazy? This feeling might be a genuine signal to set boundaries, though, and distance yourself and take protective action. Or it might be a feeling that it's disappropriate to this current situation. Or maybe it might have something to do with your needs are being unmet. So triggers can often be linked to the needs of your inner child. Yeah, that child in there and the one that's not healed. Yeah, they're unresolved feelings from that past. They might point to an area where you need safety. You might need to be feeling secure, belonging, or acceptance, but are not being met. The feeling of feeling safe, the feeling of feeling belonging or acceptance, it's just not being met, and so it's a trigger. It could be from areas of growth or self-awareness, like emotional triggers are a valuable tool for self-discovery. They are. We can utilize that by paying attention to what triggers you. You can learn about your emotional patterns, vulnerabilities, and your beliefs. Pay attention to what triggered you. Was it a word? Was it a smell? Was it an action? Was it a sense? Was it a place, a person, a thing? You know, we pay attention to what those triggers may be. Understanding your triggers allows you to anticipate challenging situations and develop healthier coping mechanisms. In essence, your emotional triggers are providing you with feedback about your emotional landscape. By understanding and exploring them, you can gain insights into the roots of your emotional reactions. Challenge those negative thought patterns and develop healthier responses. Improve your emotional resilience and overall well-being by paying attention to those triggers, and we're going to talk about, you know, what we need to do when those triggers come up. So it is, if you are struggling, this is just an important note, if you are struggling with severe emotional triggers or believe that they are related to trauma, sometimes it's important to go ahead and seek professional help from a licensed therapist or counselor, just to let you know not everything can be just flipping that script around. Sometimes you need help, okay? It's, one of the things we can do, like when the trigger comes, instead of us reacting in the moment, what we can do is we can take a moment to pause. There is a power in pausing, even for 5 seconds. You take that 5 seconds and you breathe. The power the power of pausing, taking the 5 seconds before reacting emotionally. Because things can change in 5 seconds, that quick. You can bring that emotion to a calmness. Just taking a few seconds to pause before reacting emotionally can have a transformational, can make a big change on your life and your interactions. This internal pause prevents a critical space between a stimulus and response, allowing you to move from the reaction, confirmation, allowing you to move from a reaction, emotional state of thought, and emotionally intelligent response. Why is the pause so powerful? Well, it does create space for reflection. In the heat of the moment, emotions can hijack your thinking like that. Woo! Like you might have been getting along one moment, and the next moment something gets said, and why? But if you pause, you know, we could not have such an impulsive response, and we can retract some words that we might have said. So a pause, even as brief as 5 seconds, allows your brain to rationally process the rational processing center, like the processing center, to catch up, shifting you from instinctual reactions to mindful responses. Enhance your emotional intelligence. That this pause helps you become more aware of your own emotions and understand why you're feeling them. This self-awareness, combined with the ability to manage your emotional response, are core components of emotional intelligence, leading to improved communication, relationships, and overall well-being. It allows more thoughtful responses. By taking a moment to breathe and consider the situation at hand, you can choose a response that aligns with your values and your goods rather than acting on an impulse. This leads to a more constructive conversation and better outcomes, especially in challenging situations. Reduce negative consequences. This is what taking the pause, that 5 minutes pause, can do. Reacting without pausing can make the conflicts be really high, and can be really damaging to relationships. It can break people up. You know, it can ruin a relationship for a lifetime, and it can also lead to making poor decisions. So taking the time to compose yourself and respond thoughtfully helps prevent these negative outcomes. It builds trust and credibility with leaders, and individuals who pause before responding are seen to have more deliberate, composed, and in control, inspiring great trust and confidence from those around them. So in a short moment, in 5 seconds, a pause gives you the opportunity to recognize your emotional triggers and name that feeling. It also allows you to process the situation and understand your reaction. It also gives you the ability to choose a thoughtful and intentional response. And it also gives you the ability to improve your communication and your relationships. So make that 5 minute pause before you respond. While it may seem simple, pausing before a reaction can be challenging, especially in a stressful situation, emotional situations. However, with the practice, you can build this habit. You can make it be a habit and experience a transformation, a powerful. It's a power spot in your life. You're claiming your power back. Okay. You can ask your higher self, is this a reaction serving to my highest good? You can do that. You can be asking that. Flip the script. You know that. You know, I'm all about flipping the story around. You know, the old story, they don't respect me. Well, the new story would be, this is my boundary moment. I got to set those boundaries. Flipping your old emotional story around to better. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of examples of what that would look like. Like the old story would be, I'm too much. People always leave when I'm at my fullest self. But if you're flipping that version around, you could say the right people are drawn to my affinity. My energy repels what's not aligned with me, and that's a gift. So accept that gift coming in from divine. You could also say, here's another old story. This is this old story we tell ourselves. I always get hurt when I open up my heart. Well, we got to flip that story around. We got to flip it, baby. Flip it to better. Every time I open my heart, I learn what it means to love myself more deeply and completely. Did you get that? Instead of saying, I always get hurt when I open my heart, it's like every time I open my heart, I learn what it means to love myself more. Okay? Another old story. No one ever chooses me. Poor baby. Oh, I'm sorry. Nobody chooses you. How about you choose yourself? And flipping that story around. I am the one who chooses me first. And now the world follows the lead, okay? Change it. Change that script. It's not about nobody chooses you. You choose yourself. Another old story. I wasted years in the wrong relationship. Did you? Well, we're going to flip that script around too. Those years taught you exactly what you needed, exactly what you deserved, and you're going to never settle again. Another old story. I should be further along by now. Isn't that sound familiar? I don't care if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're always, I should be further along than I am now. And that actually takes your strength away. It takes your momentum away. But we want to change that to a new version. Flip that story around to better and saying, I'm exactly where I need to be for this soul lesson. And I am here to master that. Okay, another old story. I always sabotage good things. Why would you want to even say that? No, we got to flip that around too. Say, now I recognize when fear tries to protect me, and I choose to act from love instead. We're just changing the wording around. We're taking the old story, the one that's knocking you down, and bringing in one that makes you feel better. Here's another old story. I am never good enough for them. That's what I'm talking about when you're trying to be somebody for somebody else, to prove yourself to someone else. But we got to stop that story too, and not be trying to do it for them. They were not equipped to recognize my worth, but I am. See, it's not, I'm going to say it again. I was not good enough for them. No, we're going to change it. They were not equipped enough to recognize my worth, but I am. See how it empowers you, changing those stories around to better? Or maybe this is one. My childhood made me emotionally broken. I mean, that's a common one. My childhood did this, and because this happened when I was young, I'm never going to get over that. You know, let's stop that. Let's flip that script. Say, my childhood gave me the empathy, the strength, and the depth that makes me a healer today for myself. If you feel like, you can drop one of your old stories in the, drop an old story you've been telling yourself in the comments, and then let's flip it around to better together. You guys can do that in the chat. Okay, another thing is your emotions are actually messengers. They're not your master. They don't define you. They're not who you are. Emotions are energy. They move, they shift, they come in for a while and they leave, you know. So you are allowed to feel them without letting them drive the response. Don't put your emotions in the driver's seat. No, no. So yeah, your emotions are messengers, not masters. I'll give you a few samples here in just a little bit. I did write a book called Flipping Your Emotional Story Around to Better. It's over there on Amazon as an e-copy and a hard copy. I'm gonna run my little commercial and I'll be right back, and then I'm gonna talk about some of the emotions that are giving us messages, but they are not our masters. And it's commercial break time. And what's she going to talk about on her commercial? Now, what's she going to talk about? She's going to talk about, did you know that Cynthia Toet, she's an author. She wrote a book this year called Flipping Your Emotional Story Around to Better. Yes, that's the book that she wrote, and it is on Amazon. It is an ebook and a hard copy, whichever you prefer. Go over there right now and grab your copy right now to see what it's going to take to flip your emotional story around to better. Okay, back to the show now. All right. Oh, Naya, what do you want? Naya's saying hi. She come up here. I know it's hot in here, but you were outside barking the whole time, so I got to have you in here so you're not barking, okay? Yeah. All right. Yeah, you were out there. You were being emotional out there, huh, Naya? And now you're getting a piece of the. You're listening to the show, and it's calming you down. All right. So, like, one of the emotions is anger. So anger, the message from anger is a boundary was crossed. The master response is pause, reflect, and reassess by flipping it, okay? Instead of yelling or shutting down, you honor your feelings and say, this doesn't feel respectful to me. Let's talk when we are both calm, or let's talk when I am calmer, okay? Or the emotion sadness. Let's talk about that one. Sadness is a message that something needs to be grieved, released, or healed. For a master response, it's feel it fully. Then ask what needs to be loved. So we can flip it. Instead of allowing ourselves to be numbed out, you can journal or take a walk, giving sadness a safe space without letting it pull you under. Or the emotion jealousy. The message from jealousy is you deserve something that you're not allowed yourself to go after. So the master response is celebrate the trigger as a clue. To flip it, instead of judging yourself, ask, what is this showing me about my desires, and where am I not fully claiming them? Or for the emotion anxiety. I know we all got to go through that anxiety, right? Well, the message anxiety is giving you, you're focusing too much on an imagined outcome. So the master response is to ground it into the now. Let's bring yourself back to the now. And I talk about that a lot on my shows. Get curious, not fearful. So to flip it, instead of spiraling into the anxiety, do your breath work and ask, take a deep breath and ask, what part of me feels unsafe? And how can I reassure that part with love? Or if we had the emotion of guilt, the message we get from guilt is you acted out of alignment with your values and you're carrying something that's not even yours. That's where guilt comes from. And the master response to that is discern, forgive, and course correct it if needed. So like to flip that script around would be, instead of punishing yourself, ask yourself, is this guilt mine or is it projected? If it's mine, how do I make it right with love? Okay. And one more for the emotions is shame. Shame, the message when you going through feeling the energy of shame, is you're believing a story that you are not good enough. So the master response, bring it into the light. Shame cannot live in truth. It cannot survive in truth. Shame cannot survive in truth. So to flip it, instead of hiding, speak your truth. Like say, this was hard, but I am growing. My worth is not up for debate. Okay? All right, so like a self-love response strategy would be, one is pause before reacting. Take that breath. Give yourself space to respond instead of reacting. 2, ask yourself, what do I need right now? Right at this very moment. What do you need right now? And then tune in to the emotion is pointing to something that you need. Love, safety, clarity. Try to figure that out. The response, respond with compassion. Speak to yourself the way that you would speak to someone else you deeply love. I tell people that all the time. People will start coming to me and they praise me all the time, but then they turn around and they criticize themselves, and I'll look at them and I go, what are you doing? And they'll go, what? And I go, what are you doing praising me and criticizing yourself? And they'll go, well, blah, 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 blah. And I go, well, you better knock it off, because how you're praising me, you need to be praising yourself that much. So that's what I mean about that. So respond with compassion. Refrain from the moment, flip the inner story. This isn't happening to you, it is happening for your own personal growth. So it is important for us to take action, take aligned action. So do one thing that honors your higher self and set boundaries, speak your truth, or walk away in peace. And then another thing you can do, one of my favorite things is to get some tarot cards and pull a card or two, only if you're a reader, So I use the cards a lot for the emotional self, so I can pull out the cards so it can realign my emotional self. So let's see where we are in time. Oh, wow, we're up on time. All right, you guys. Let's see what you're saying in the chat. Well, first I want to thank everybody for coming here. Raquel and Dollface and Insha, Samaya and Summon, Pop Queen, Andrew, and Divine Timing. I appreciate you guys all coming into the chat, and Kiki and Girl Wake Up. I'm so happy to see you guys coming in and getting some of these messages for you guys. And Asha Man is in the house too. So I appreciate you guys for coming on in. Thank you for coming and watching Mastering Your Emotional Response by Rewriting Your Story. This was Your Hidden Love Story, episode 2058. And I do go live every Monday and Thursday nights, 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to rewrite your script, to rewrite your story, to give you some self-love tips. What do you guys need to do? How can we be operating from a higher vibrational self? Let's start claiming our lives back by doing what it is that we're truly meant to do. And for those that want your readings, I'll be starting that show in just moments afterwards. It's all set up. It might already be on go already. So all I have to do is jump from here to over there, and all I have is a few dogs to take care of in between time. See? That dog's is telling the truth. All right. See you guys all in a little bit. I love you so very much. Bye-bye, butterflies. Catch.